Hey, Seekers, it's Brad from Rotoheat. Back at it with another player breakdown. Today we're going to talk about Corey Davis, wide receiver from the Tennessee Titans. Currently on Rotoheat.com, he's got an ADP of 59 overall, which is the 27th ranked wide receiver. The interesting thing about that position is, he's outside of the wide receiver 2 status at 27, but I even this year expect him to be a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside, so mid to upper wide receiver 2 on a regular weekly basis, with weeks where he could outproduce that. The interesting thing is last year, even with Mariota and Gabbert throwing him the ball, he still had 112 targets and he caught almost 60% of those. So that's not too terrible for a guy who most people from the outside see as a great receiver or a very talented receiver on a really bad offense. This year, they've gone and upgraded the backup, so if Mariota gets hurt again, Ryan Tannehill will be slinging the ball, and that's a good thing. He's got a good deep ball. He's a decent passer when he's healthy as well. So between the two of those quarterbacks, they should be able to get an increased amount of targets for Corey Davis. Now, obviously, they've brought in A.J. Brown via the draft. They have Taywan Taylor, Tajay Sharp. They've got all sorts of receivers. Delaney Walker will be healthy again. Jonnu Smith will be possibly healthy. I know he's a little bit hurt right now as well. Dion Lewis out of the backfield. There's a lot of receptions to go around, and unfortunately, Tennessee is one of those teams that is kind of in the bottom 5 when it comes to pass attempts, especially with this new regime with Mike Vrabel and the team in there running the place. But that's still Corey Davis is still their number one option. He's still going to get his target share, and he's fairly insulated. In his 2017 campaign, even though he was hurt, he still got a decent amount of targets. He was in the 60s range, I believe, if I remember correctly, and they basically doubled his target share. So last year he was healthy for the most part for most of the year, and he saw over 100 targets. He saw a nice amount of receptions. He saw good yardage, touchdowns. And this year the community is a little bit sleeping on him. So if you are a dynasty owner in a startup, I would definitely be eyeing him, somewhere, probably 5th, 6th round, redrafts, probably something similar, 4th, 5th, 6th round, somewhere in there as your wide receiver 2, and I'd be happy about that. The nice thing about him is that he's only going to get better. This is going into his 3rd year. The receivers are going to tend to take another jump in year 3, and you get more out of them, and they begin to mature more. And we saw Corey Davis mature from year 1 to year 2 very nicely. So from a dynasty perspective, buy him. I got him in the offseason about 2 months ago. I think I've traded for him a couple different places, and basically traded a mid to late first and a later pick, 3rd, 4th kind of thing. So if you can get him at that price point, I'd buy him. And even kind of a mid first. Even a mid 2020 or 2021 first, I would be perfectly fine with that. Corey Davis is young, talented, and the sky's the limit. If Mariota and Tannehill don't pan out this year, 2020's got a plethora of quarterbacks that Tennessee can look at. So don't be afraid to buy. Don't be afraid to hold if you've got him. If you're a Corey Davis owner, I would not sell him cheap. Most of the people that I've seen trade him, or in the cases that I feel like you've traded and sold him for a lower value than what he's worth. So don't be afraid to draft him this year because he's going to outplay his ADP. He's going to be successful, barring injury or something that we don't know about, unforeseen. But I'd be excited about him. I'd be happy with the pick. I'd be happy with him as my number 2 receiver, and and for now and for the future. So Corey Davis for the wide receiver for Tennessee, buy him, draft him, be happy with him. Don't forget to check out all of our great content on YouTube. Hit the like and the notification bell so that you can be up to date on all the player breakdowns that we are coming out with, because we are pumping them out regularly. Don't forget to check out Rotoheat.com for the supporting article with stats, statistics, facts about Corey Davis, as well as check out iTunes, Google Podcasts, anywhere where you get podcasts. Check out the Heat Seekers podcast, the Heat Seekers Fantasy Football Podcast, Sully's 2 Cents. Go over to twitch.tv and you can see the Dynasty Roundtable. Find us over on Facebook, search Rotoheat. Over on Discord, we've got a Discord server for Rotoheat Fantasy Sports. We are your source for fantasy sports. So until next time, I'm Brad with Rotoheat. Have a good night.
Don't forget, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any more fantasy football content from the Rotoheat.com team. Also, right there, playlist. Hit it. Watch the videos. Do it. You want to. Do it.